Q's Blog and Grill.
But back then, when I came back to Apple the second time in 95, I started something called the Evangelist. And this was a list server that had 44,000 subscribers. So we would just tell good news to this list. Well, in a sense, it was kind of like social media, right? It was broadcasting news. So I'm a big believer in that. It would have been easier, although, arguably there would have been more noise, so there would have been more competition for attention, but the mechanism would be better than, back then, if you had email, you were state of the art.
Yeah, true.
And, we would not be having this conversation via Skype back then. You or I would have to fly to each other.
Right. So that time at Apple, in both stints, you had a relationship with Steve Jobs.
Yep.
What were I know after the day after he died, you were, I think, in Spain, and you did a presentation, and you kind of altered it to reflect your experiences with Jobs. What were the three things that come to mind that you learned from that experience?
So I think the most important thing I learned from Steve is that design counts. In a world of mediocrity, design counts.
Right.
Secondly, I learned that customers often cannot describe what they need. They can tell you, better, faster, cheaper of the same thing, but they can't tell you how to leapfrog.
Right.
And the third thing I learned is that, if you're an A player, you hire people better than you, not worse than you. So A players hire A plus players, B players hire C players.
Right.
So I think those are the three most important things.
Excellent. And that's great advice for people in startups now. And how do you see the connection between culture and innovation? Was that something you've seen grow?
Yeah, no, I think people think about this too much. That basically, when you have a chief cultural officer, it's time to get worried, because culture should just be growing organically. You shouldn't have like some MBA in charge of making sure that the ping pong tables are in place. I don't quite get that. So the desire to innovate starts at the CEO. If the CEO is into innovation, fine. If not, and if they just create this chief innovation officer, that's also a bad sign.
Okay.
Innovation should be just core to the company. You shouldn't have to assign a special group to innovate.
Right. It's kind of like oxygen. It just
exactly
permeates the thing.
Yeah.
Now, you had an interesting quote lately, or not too long ago, about inbound marketing. And, if you want to spend your money, use traditional advertising and marketing stuff. But if you want to invest your money and get a return on it, use inbound.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in actually free marketing. I take it as a personal insult if I have to pay for any marketing.
Right.
And it's because of social media that, if you develop a follower base on these services, you should be able to do most of this stuff for free. And, I've never been in a situation where I had $200 million to introduce a product. So, for those people who do, hallelujah, God bless you. But I've never been in that situation. So,
one of the companies that you co-founded was Fog City Software.
Yeah.
And you've talked about your co-founders as being great.
Yeah.
What makes a great co-founder?
A great co-founder is someone who has skills that are different from you. So, obviously I'm marketing and social media. The co-founder of Fog City was a real engineer, product designer, product management engineer. And I just cannot do that kind of stuff. And he hates marketing. So it's that kind of relationship. I think what many companies do, or many teams do, is they hire in their own image. So engineers hire more engineers. Well, the problem is, you need to sell. And if you're a sales guy, you hire more salespeople. Well, the problem is somebody's got to make it. So you need to hire people who have complementary skills, not duplicate skills.
Right. What's your philosophy on bozos and having bozos in your company?
Well, yeah, as I said earlier, B players hire C players hire D players hire E players, and pretty soon you have Z players, and that's called the bozo explosion. So, I think you should always hire people who are better than you. It is kind of that simple.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's what leaders are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to create other leaders, not just employees or followers.
Yeah, one would hope.
Oh, that's great. Now, what is it that Guy does to you lead a pretty active life and some stress or something must creep in there. What is your stress releaser? What is it that you do in your spare time?
Oh, I play hockey. I play
Really?
hockey 4 or 5 times a week. In fact, I have a situation today where I have this at 9:30 my time.
Yep.
I have a radio interview at 10:30 my time. I have a half-hour webinar that's supposed to go from 11:30 to 12, but I'm going to change into my stuff so that the minute I'm over at 12, I'm going to get on the ice because my pickup hockey starts at 12:15.
All right.
So, that's the nature. A lot of people think, oh, Guy, you're so busy, you have all these business meetings. The truth is, I'm getting to the rink. So I never, ever have lunch meetings during the week because that's when I play hockey.
Yeah, and you started this whole addiction
Yeah.
10 years ago when your boys started to play?
Yeah, yeah. I started playing hockey at 48. So having never skated in my life. And so now, I'm on some of these teams and these kids are like, 32, right?
Right,
And so I said to them, you're 32. So imagine if 16 years from now is when you start playing hockey,
right.
and then 10 years from now is what I am today. I mean, no, 26 years from now is what I am. So stop playing hockey for 16 years and then take it up and then add 10 years. That's who I am today.
Wow.
Uh, so,
That,
that
that
kind of shakes them up.
I noticed
Not that I'm good.
oh, hey, you're just committed.
Yeah, I
That's
am
the main
committed.
thing. We really appreciate your time today, and we do have two special things for you. I'm just going to turn
Okay.
to this has been rehearsed. Okay, every guest on AQ's Blog and Grill gets a pair of bold socks. They're a they're
Okay.
a semi-sponsor. More
Okay.
importantly, though, we have for you an original Kitchener Ranger jersey. So to
Oh,
inspire
cool.
you, and we're sending you this sweater.
Well, thank you very much. Thank
And
you very much.
now
Oh,
just
thanks.
reading Ape,
Yeah.
author,
Publisher, entrepreneur.
publisher, entrepreneur, and when I grow up, I want to be Guy Kawasaki.
You should aim higher.
Well, thanks,
Alrighty.
Guy. Any
Thank
encouraging
you.
words for young entrepreneurs these days? Anything you can pass on to them?
Well, I think the most important piece of advice I can give them is, to start prototyping. The prototype is the key.
Prototypes.
Yep.
Fabulous, and that's great. Guy, thanks again,
Thank
and
you.
we'll
Thank
look
you.
forward
Take
to,
care.
you bet. See you later.
Let's go to Tim Hortons now.
A double. Thanks for joining us today, Guy. That was fabulous. So if you have questions for Guy, you can post them on AQ's Blog and Grill, and we'll see you later.
AQ's Blog and Grill.